The world ended, not with a bang, but with a bite. One infection, one scream in the night. That's all it took to ignite a global collapse. In less than a week, cities fell, governments crumbled, and humanity found itself hunted by the very people it once loved. But in this new world ruled by the undead, survival isn't about strength or speed. It's about silence, sacrifice, and the terrifying choices no one wants to make. Will you survive when the world turns against the living? The Zombie Apocalypse: How to Actually Survive a Global Outbreak. It began on a quiet Tuesday. No sirens, no warnings, just a strange report on the news about violent behavior in a hospital in Nairobi. Within days, the infection had crossed borders. Airports became silent tombs, and cities turned into feeding grounds. The virus didn't just kill, it converted. Within 60 seconds of a bite, the infected transformed into snarling, mindless creatures driven by a single instinct: consume the living. Liam Carter had read the survival manuals, watched every zombie movie, and mocked doomsday preppers. But when his neighbor broke through his living room window, pale, eyes sunken, blood foaming from his mouth, Liam knew this wasn't fiction anymore. It was day one, and he had to act fast. He locked himself in the attic with a radio, canned food, water, and a machete he'd never thought he'd use. The first rule: stay silent. Zombies weren't smart, but they were fast and extremely sensitive to sound. The second: trust no one. People would do anything to survive, and sometimes the living were more dangerous than the dead. 3 days later, Liam heard a broadcast on the emergency frequency. If you're hearing this, head north. Cold slows them down. We're building a safe zone in Anchorage. That meant crossing nearly 3,000 miles of zombie-infested America alone. Liam rigged a bike with solar-powered lights, strapped his supplies, and began the journey at night, using abandoned highways and avoiding populated areas. He learned to scavenge like a ghost, never staying in one place, always moving. He wore layers of rotting zombie flesh to mask his scent, a trick he learned after watching a pack of the undead walk right past a dead deer. Along the way, he met others. A woman named Riley, who had lost her family in Houston. A boy named Amir, who hadn't spoken since Kansas. Together, they formed a small group, united not by hope, but by survival. In Colorado, they encountered a militia, armed, fortified, paranoid. The group wanted their supplies and saw Amir as a liability. Liam refused to leave the boy. That night, they escaped through an underground sewer, crawling through filth while the sounds of screaming and gunfire echoed behind them. By the time they reached Montana, winter had set in. Zombies froze in place, still twitching, their mouths open mid-snarl. But now, hunger and frostbite were the real enemies. Liam's fingers turned purple. Riley caught a fever. Amir found an abandoned dog that barked too much, but somehow reminded them they were still human. In the final stretch toward Alaska, they found a derailed military train full of supplies, rations, fuel, and vaccines, experiments against the virus. Liam knew they had to get that train moving. The undead would thaw soon, and the window was closing. They fixed the engine using scavenged parts from a nearby depot. It took 5 days, 5 sleepless nights, and one brutal attack that took Riley's leg. She kept going. Finally, as the train chugged toward Anchorage, Liam climbed onto the roof, watching the icy wilderness blur past. Smoke rose in the distance. A signal. A promise. A future. They had made it. But survival wasn't about finding safety. It was about never stopping, never trusting comfort, and always remembering, the world you knew is gone. This is the new world. And in the new world, only the relentless survive.